What if the dollar's dominance could be switched off overnight? A 50-year financial order is cracking, and the weapon doing it isn't a bomb, it's gold. The world is rewriting the rules of money. For decades, the US dollar has been the undisputed king of global finance, but whispers of a BRICS kill switch are growing louder. What is the truth about this financial weapon, and how is the world quietly bypassing the dollar? The reality is far more insidious than a sudden market crash. The kill switch isn't a direct attack on American soil or a sudden dumping of currency. Instead, it is a meticulously engineered bypass, constructed in plain sight, designed to route around Washington's control. The dominance of the dollar seemed unshakable for over half a century. But what specific event acted as the catalyst, transforming a slow, theoretical shift away from the dollar into an urgent, full-blown financial rebellion? In February 2022, the United States and its allies crossed a Rubicon by freezing roughly $300 billion of Russia's foreign exchange reserves. By severing Russian banks from SWIFT, Washington accidentally sent a terrifying message to every non-Western nation on Earth.
With billions vanished with the stroke of a pen, global trust fractured. Did the architects of this unprecedented financial warfare realize the long-term damage they were inflicting on their own currency's reputation and global standing?
Yes. By April 2023, U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen publicly admitted that using financial sanctions linked to the dollar risks undermining its global hegemony. The weaponization of the currency had inadvertently created the ultimate incentive for rival nations to build an escape hatch. Turn on any Western financial news network, and you'll hear that the dollar is as strong as ever. If a global rebellion is truly underway, why do the world's top economists and analysts continue to insist the dollar is invincible? Western analysts are essentially measuring the temperature with a broken thermometer. They point to the dollar's overwhelming dominance on the SWIFT messaging network. But SWIFT only tracks transactions that touch Western banks. It completely ignores the vast, growing shadow economy operating outside American jurisdiction. If SWIFT is no longer the sole arbiter of global commerce, what exactly is slipping through the cracks? What massive financial currents are vanishing from Western radar and flowing into this decentralized, unregulated, dark pool? Billions of dollars in bilateral trade are simply disappearing from Western view. In a historic flip, the Chinese yuan has already surpassed the US dollar in China's own cross-border transactions. By 2025, the yuan accounted for over 53% of these payments, officially dethroning the dollar. You can't just wish away the global banking system. If these nations are bypassing SWIFT and Western correspondent banks, how are they physically routing and clearing these massive cross-border transactions on a day-to-day basis? They are plugging into alternative rails. China's cross-border interbank payment system, or CIPS, is rapidly expanding. Furthermore, a working prototype of BRICS Pay, a decentralized, blockchain-inspired alternative to SWIFT, was publicly demonstrated in October 2024, proving that a parallel infrastructure is already operational. For 50 years, the rule was simple. If you want to buy oil, you need US dollars. This petrodollar system artificially propped up American economic power. What happens to that power when the black market of oil changes its currency? The foundation cracks. In October 2023, the first international crude oil transaction was officially settled using the digital yuan. With roughly 90% of Russia's trade with BRICS partners now settled in national currencies, the unbreakable link between oil and the dollar has been severed. Saudi Arabia built its modern empire on the petrodollar. Why would the kingdom, historically a staunch U.S. ally, risk Washington's wrath to accept Chinese yuan, a currency they heavily restrict and don't necessarily want to hold? Because China offered them the ultimate insurance policy, physical gold. Beijing invented an ingenious oil for gold loophole. This mechanism allows major oil exporters like Saudi Arabia to bypass the dollar, accept yuan for their crude, and immediately convert that excess currency into tangible assets. The concept sounds revolutionary, but the logistics of moving billions in oil wealth into precious metals is incredibly complex. How does this oil for gold loophole actually function on a daily basis for these massive energy exporters? It operates seamlessly through the Shanghai Gold Exchange International.
Oil producers take the yuan they earned from China and instantly convert it into physical 1 kilogram gold bars. They never have to hold the Chinese currency long enough to worry about exchange rates or capital controls.
With the dollar weaponized and the yuan acting as a mere conduit, global trust in paper money is eroding. Are the world's central banks quietly preparing for a catastrophic collapse of the entire fiat currency system?
They are certainly acting like it. Central banks are quietly dumping U.S. treasuries and hoarding record-breaking amounts of physical gold. In 2024 alone, these institutions purchased over 1,000 tons of gold, desperately seeking to diversify their national reserves away from dollar-denominated assets. We've seen nations hoard gold before, most notably during the Cold War. But how is cutting-edge financial technology making this modern gold rush fundamentally different and far more dangerous to Western dominance than the 20th century? The game changer is the integration of central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs. Unlike the clunky gold standards of the past, blockchain technology allows these nations to instantly settle multi-billion-dollar trades digitally, backed by the stability of their massive, newly acquired gold reserves.
As BRICS nations digitize their economies, a mysterious platform known as Project Bridge keeps appearing in international financial reports. What exact role does this platform play in the global push to dethrone the dollar?
Project Bridge is the digital highway of the future. It is a cross-border settlement platform that connects central banks directly, entirely bypassing Western clearinghouses. By late 2025, Bridge had successfully processed over $55 billion in transactions, proving the technology is vastly superior to legacy systems.
Washington has a long history of crushing financial threats with crippling economic sanctions. If platforms like Bridge and BRICS Pay are stealing American power, why can't the U.S. Treasury simply sanction them out of existence?
Because they can't find a central target to hit. These new platforms are built on decentralized, distributed ledger technology. There is no single server in New York or London to shut down. The network is distributed across multiple sovereign nations, making it mathematically immune to Western sanctions.
Theoretical blockchains and prototype payment systems are one thing, but global trade requires battle-tested reliability. Has this parallel financial universe actually proven it can handle the brutal, high-stakes reality of real-world geopolitics and massive commodity flows?
Absolutely. The system is already flexing its geopolitical muscle. Iran is reportedly demanding yuan-based tolls for oil shipments passing through the Strait of Hormuz. This proves the infrastructure is robust enough to handle critical, real-time energy logistics without a single U.S. dollar changing hands.